He's gonna get another arm soon. Maybe Santa will bring it to him. And feet as well. And Pumpkaboo, pumpkaboo. Look at this distinguished gentleman. Look at the way he's sitting. So for today's video, I thought I would do something a little bit different. If you follow my Instagram, you know I love to crochet, and it's a hobby that's been something that I've been doing a lot lately, so I thought I would share all the crafts of crochet that I made in October. I started crocheting some years ago, but I only made things like table runners and a blanket I never finished and smaller projects. This year I finally decided to be brave and explore the world of amigurumi. Amigurumi. And if I remember correctly, it's a Japanese term, and it's to describe what these are. So like, it's a plushie, but it's a specific style of plushie, and that's amigurumi. So this was the very first amigurumi I made. I ended up loving it a lot. There are many mistakes, but I'm going to point them out. I will be linking all of the crochet patterns in the description below, so if you crochet as well, you could make these too. But anyway, this Halloween / autumn gnome was my very first, and there was a lot of mistakes that I made, and I kind of want to point them out because that's how you learn. So this gnome being my first, I had to really kind of just dive right into sewing a bunch of crocheted parts, and that was pretty difficult. I still don't like sewing, and so it's my least favorite part of amigurumi is sewing everything together, because there's so many parts and techniques of sewing to do, and if you don't do it right, it'll just look sloppy. So now, in the original pattern, the boots were a lot longer and pointier. Mine pretty much came out like stubs, as you can see. They're not even the same size, nor are they even with each other. But I think sitting down, the gnome keeps that a secret enough. I found the easiest part. I'm just going to start picking pieces and describing them to you guys. But anyways, I found the beard to be the easiest part. It was very fun and very fast. I honestly thought it was going to be the most intimidating part, but it proved me wrong, so I'm really glad. And the pumpkin, I did not know that in amigurumi there's a right side and there's a wrong side. I didn't know that. The wrong side looks like the pi symbol. So here is something I crocheted on the right side of the project, and you can tell that it's the right side because you don't see pi symbols. Instead, you have what looks like multiple stitches, like V's, and places where I increased, you see waves. So here you can see the stitches look like pi symbols. You can see very clearly the pi symbols, and they pretty much self-explains why they are referred to as like pi symbols, because they have the shape and form of pi symbols. Now, it can be a choice of style, so it's technically not wrong or right. So that was something I learned after I made some of my first amigurumis, but now I have learned my lesson. Were pretty easy to make. Overall, this being my first was actually a great thing, because I was still able to learn a lot of things, and it still looks good. And then here on the hat, I embroidered like a spider web. Now, the spider web in the project, or the pattern, is a lot smaller and a lot more minimalistic, but I just struggled so hard with getting the web effect to look good enough, and then I ended up with a bunch of cobweb. But you know, it works. Spiders do that anyway, so it's its personality. And the next thing that I made in October was a Pokemon. Now this is Pumpkaboo. If you don't know, if you don't play Pokemon or don't know some of the new Pokemon, this is Pumpkaboo. And Pumpkaboo is a ghost pumpkin in the games, and I'm really happy the way this came out. This Pumpkaboo has a lot of flaws. There were a lot of parts, and this being my second Amigurumi is very telling here. It was hard, but you know, I braved through it and I did it, and it looks like Pumpkaboo, so I guess that's all that matters. But this was a very stressful pattern to make because there were so many wings and a lot of balancing to do. And in the pattern, the wings are actually supposed to be a bit more flaring, but I just couldn't. I did use wiring and I used pipe cleaners, but it just wasn't enough. They were just not strong enough. And I also used a thicker yarn, so that definitely did not help whatsoever because Pumpkaboo, well, it's huge. Pumpkaboo actually in the Pokemon games come in different sizes, so I can definitely make this one the largest. And then next year I definitely plan to make a medium-sized one and then a small one, as well as a shiny, because the shiny of this Pokemon is purple, and that's pretty cool too. And he's like a lantern basically, which I love, which is why I definitely could not let it go to make this pattern, even if it took me a long time, and even though I was frustrated with some of the wings, it was worth it. So in the middle of this project is when I learned that there was a wrong and right side. So yeah, that makes Pumpkaboo even more special, even if his head is kind of floopy and lopsided. Now the next project I started in October. I haven't finished it, but it's still visible, so I decided I will share it with you guys because it's a gerbil, you guys. I can't wait to make the rest of this pattern, but this pattern is basically a sleigh. It's a whole reindeer scene, and I have started on the sleigh. These two parts are just one side of the sleigh, and it's going to be so adorable because the original pattern made them mice, but I decided to make them gerbils because, well, my channel is all about gerbils. I have gerbils and I love gerbils, so I knew I had to take the opportunity to make them. Now all of these have hearts that I crocheted inside of them, but it has the essence of the gerbils, and it's gonna be really fun to finish this. As you can see, this current one only has one arm, but he's vibing. He's alive and he's vibing. He's gonna get another arm soon. Maybe Santa will bring it to him. And feet as well, and his tail, her tail. I have no idea why I still sometimes refer to the gerbils as males, because we found out that they were indeed girls. So yes, but anyways, now I love this project. It's really kind of complicated because the size of them is small. Now this project is pretty tricky because it's a really small design, so you're working into really small stitches, which can be a bit complicated, but I love it so much because the results are just going to be so amazing. And they have antlers. I've decided that this gerbil is going to be, well, since the original red nose is Rudolph, it's going to be Beanie, because Beanie is the leader of the clan. There are clans when it comes to gerbils, and Beanie is a ruler, and she is the queen of all three of them. and as well as the bravest. So it was just fitting enough for this to be beanie. Because I still need to make the handles of the gerbil reindeers as well as the other half of the sleigh, and then the sleigh will have a bottom part, and then it will have a detailed sleigh border, and then but I still have to make the whole Santa bag and the gifts and whatever else I'm forgetting. So, but I definitely will finish it. We have to. It's part of the essence of owning gerbils because it's something really special. And lastly, on the topic of things that are special, I have my last finished amigurumi, and that is a bunny, you guys. It is a bunny now. Oh my god, this pattern was very complicated. There were times when the English was something hard to understand because it was a translation. So this person that makes the patterns is in Vietnam, and she makes the most adorable amigurumis, and so I just knew that I had to push forward with it because, you know, you just have to make do with what you have, and that is this rabbit. Some of you might know that rabbits are my favorite animal, and I just had to make a amigurumi rabbit, of course. And this is little Timothy, and if you follow my Instagram, I've come up with the names there. I named him Little Timothy because since rabbits eat hay, well, Timothy, hay. But he is so adorable, you guys. I mean, moving on to the flaws of my work, which is abundant. I really don't like the result of the head because even though in certain angles it looks fine, if it's facing forward, he kind of looks old, and I don't know. As I once said before, I hate sewing. It's my least favorite part, and sometimes I just really suck at it, but I managed to make wrinkles on the rabbit, and so he kind of looks old in different angles depending on the light, so it's a little bit sad. In fact, I tried to save it by putting a very like cuddly yarn to try and hide that, but as you can see, well, it didn't do a good job, but it was a lot worse, so at least. But he's so cute. I have him sitting on a ledge on the wall, and I'll send a picture so you guys can see that because he is sitting so majestically. And yeah, and he does have a heart as well. And inside the heart, since again rabbits do shed and you should brush them from time to time, I used that shedding to put in the middle of the heart, and then I closed it all up, and then I put the heart right where it goes. And so that makes little Timothy very, very special to me as well, because I will always have a piece of Nala and Kubo in my rabbit projects. And I really love the result. There's a lot of things that I learned at the very end to make it the best it can be, but he actually came out pretty well in my opinion. I'm pretty happy with him. He's just so cute, you guys. Even when he looks very old and his little boots, he could do a dance. Anyways, yeah. But oh, sewing problems. Oh my god. Okay, the pants were really tricky for me because they start as one piece, and this was another tricky part for me that wasn't explained, and I still kind of don't know what to do. But I ended up having to sew it onto the body because it would just fall off, and I don't know if that was just a problem with me not stuffing the body enough or closing it off because for some reason the pattern forgot to mention that, and since it didn't say that, I didn't do it. But that's just me assuming that maybe that's what you're supposed to do. But I definitely will make little Timothy again, maybe the girl version, because in the pattern there's two. And I will fix those things and hopefully it comes out better. The embroidery on little Timothy was also a bit challenging because I also didn't close the head. The embroidery was pretty easy, but I kind of closed off the headpiece too fast because this part is very fragile. If I pull it, I can very much easily take it off, and that would be horrible because I already sewed all these pieces together. So hopefully that doesn't happen. So, but if it does, I mean, I could do it again, right? Sometimes you have to do the things that annoy you most the right way. And then, and only then, can you move on. But, so. Okay. Little Timothy, can you sit down? I'm trying to end the video with a thumbnail. Little Timothy, I know you're used to sitting on the ledge, but you could really use your support now. I know the ledge supported you, but sometimes you just have to, like, support yourself on your own. Okay, Timothy, you know what, stay. Timothy has fallen and he can't get up because it's hard. I feel the same way, Timothy. Okay. Okay, but that is everything that I crocheted in October, and I can't wait to show you all the things I'm creating and have created in December. And I actually posted one that I finished in my Instagram, so if you go there you get the sneak peeks. But until then, I shall see you guys next month on this type of video. Let me know if you guys liked it and if you want more of these or something else or just anything. And yeah, so I guess this is goodbye for now. Bye bye.